I feel the spirit moving in me. I feel the spirit moving in me.
Aloha! Yesterday morning, I made this phenomenal bowl of oatmeal with fresh oatmeal that I cooked, and fresh strawberries and fresh bananas and fresh blueberries and crushed walnuts and cinnamon. And it was a huge bowl. And I sat down and I'm eating this bowl, and I'm doing like I sometimes do and reading while I'm eating. And I got to the very bottom of my bowl, and I'm like taking the second to the last bite, and I realize I didn't taste anything in this whole bowl of cereal. So I did enjoy the last 2 bites of the cereal, but it got me thinking, why didn't I savor the whole bowl? And so this talk is about savoring this moment. How can we be more present in the moment to savor the moments of life, to experience the fullness of them? And so that's what this talk is about today. Scientists believe that our brains have a negativity bias, that we generally react more to negative stimulus than we do to positive stimulus. And that it's weird, but we learn faster from pain than we do from pleasure. And painful experiences are more memorable than pleasurable experiences are. And in fact, we experience 3 to 1, unpleasant experiences for every pleasant experience that we have. And I guess the truth of that is that the proportion really isn't that way, but that's how we perceive it in our memory, and that's what we hold on to. We human beings evolved in a world over thousands of years where we had to protect ourselves, where we had to defend ourselves, where we had to protect our food and our family. And so our system has built this defense mechanism into it that keeps us on edge and keeps us fearful. And thank goodness for neuroscience, which is now discovering that we can change our neural pathways so that the way that we perceive our lives is totally different, so that we can be present to the good, and to enjoy our bowl of oatmeal in the morning with all the fresh fruit and just be focused on it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a system that I've created to help us to revitalize and build new pathways in our brains so that we can experience life to the fullest. Are you in? Typically our brains are like Velcro to negative experiences, and they're like Teflon to positive experiences. And we hang on to negativity, and then the good things happen, and they just slide right through us, and we don't even pay attention to them. So what we want to do is we want to turn that around so we don't accept this bias, and we can build a whole new system in our brains, whole new pathways. By savoring this moment, we can emphasize the pleasure and the joy that's in this moment so that we expand that throughout our brain and we begin to see our lives from that perspective. Thich Nhat Hanh said, "Many people are alive but don't touch the miracle of being alive." Wow, it's like we're here, but we're not really present to being here. We're not here in our fullest consciousness to experience and enjoy what's happening for us right now. So we can build new pathways through this technique that I'm calling Savor. And Savor is an acronym for the steps in this process that we'll talk about today. And the 5 words that represent this process are senses, appreciate, vitalize, open your heart, and rest. So, savoring is like a magical thing. Savoring is, we usually think of it in terms of food and really savoring good food. And I don't know about you, but I really savor dark chocolate. I can remember the last time I had some dark chocolate. In fact, it was yesterday. And I had this amazing piece of dark chocolate that I bit in half and only savored half of it at a time. And I put it in my mouth. And rather than like biting down on it or chewing on it, I just let it sit there. You ever do that? And just let it sit in my mouth and feel the texture of it. Feel the nuttiness of it. Maybe this had a little bit of a citrus flavor to it. And it had a little bit of peanut butter flavor to it, yeah? And I'm just like savoring this moment and feeling the smoothness and the deliciousness of the chocolate. And then at some point, as happens with chocolate in your mouth, it started to dissipate and get smaller and smaller and smaller. And then finally, the flavor dissipated and went away. And I remember that I felt a little bit of disappointment as the chocolate disappeared. And I guess that's a hook, right? That's what makes us want to go back into the refrigerator and get another piece. Because we enjoy that savoring so much. And so the way that we can apply this to our neurosystem is to look at the way we savor what we eat, to practice eating and really being present to what the food tastes like, what the texture is like, and much like I did with the chocolate, just to really fully experience it. And we can do this with all of our senses. We can do it with our eyesight, right? To really appreciate what we see. And it's so easy for so many of us that live here on Maui because there's so much beauty. But really, wherever you are, whatever there is to be taken in by your eyes, to just really savor it. Just imagine that you can bring it all in and feel the colors, feel the brightness, and to really have it be a multi-sensory experience, even though it's a visual experience. And the next thing we can do is to look at our hearing and to listen to what we hear. So let's just pause for a second and listen. I hear the birds. Maybe you can hear the same birds that I'm hearing through my microphone. Or what do you hear where you are? I can hear birds. I can hear somebody's air conditioner or somebody's dryer. And again, we want to tune into our senses so we're really paying attention to what is happening right now. We want to build those pathways so that we fill ourselves with enjoyment and by savoring and being present. The next sense that we can really be with is touch. To touch, I can touch and I can feel the coolness of this cup, and to really, translate that into whatever we are touching. To be aware of, what's in our environment, what's close by, what is there to touch. It makes me think of, if I really pay attention, I can feel this shirt. Yeah, I can feel my pants. I can be aware of my hair. And it's like, wow, just by tuning in and being aware and savoring this amazing ability that we have to touch. Another sense that we can be aware of is to smell. and wherever we are, just to stop, take a moment, and smell. I can still smell the chocolate from yesterday because it's so impacted in my mind. But there's there's smells right here that our house has, and as we're building new pathways, we want to be aware of all that's around us and to derive pleasure from it by savoring it. And I can still taste the cup of coffee that I had this morning and the one I'm going to have after we record this talk today. And so the idea is that we can build new neural pathways as we pay attention to what's happening right now. We can strengthen these circuits by savoring the moment and getting more in touch with the miracle of life. The second thing that we can do to build these neural pathways, and the A in Savor, is to appreciate, to really have gratitude for what there is for us to experience. Gratitude is a magnifying principle in the universe. What we are grateful for, we attract to us by creating that field of energy. And it reminds me of a story when I taught first grade in Oakland. I had an amazing class of children, and one day I gave them the assignment to draw a picture of something that you're grateful for. And so the children were all busily writing and drawing, and I was really amazed at, I guess I thought that the children would probably draw pictures of their parents, or a toy, or a game, or a friend. But I was really amazed by one of my students, whose name is Aaron, because Aaron drew a hand. And when he showed the pictures of the class was just like, wow, that's an amazing picture. And they were trying to guess, whose hand is it? Is it a policeman? Is it your mom? Is it a doctor? Is it a friend? Is it the principal? Whose hand is it? They had all these guesses that came out of who this hand was. And it's kind of interesting because we got so involved in the conversation that I forgot to ask Aaron whose hand it was. And so went on to another child, and then some time passed and we got involved in another assignment. And I realized that I had never asked Aaron who that was. So as he's working, I went over and knelt next to him and I said, Aaron, whose hand was that? And he said, teacher, it was yours. And it just struck me, that that he'd be so grateful for me, for my hands. And Aaron had a tough life. Both of Aaron's parents were in jail, and Aaron lived with his grandparents. And he was a lonely boy and spent a lot of time alone at recess. And sometimes at recess he would come and take my hand and just talk to me. And, as a teacher, I held a lot of children's hands, because that's kind of what you do when you're going someplace. You're taking a walk with the children, you take someone's hands and you lead them. But I had no idea that holding his hand had such a huge impact on him, to be grateful for that. And it, in an interesting way, it really made me feel grateful for what I was able to do, that I was able to do this work and impact this child's life and other children's life. Really, his showing gratitude for me helped me to appreciate what I was doing, and helped me to take what I was doing to another level, because I was so encouraged by his gratitude. So gratitude is a magnifier that unlocks the fullness of life, and it turns it turns what we have into enough when we are grateful. Charles Fillmore, Unity's co-founder, said, words of praise, gratitude, or thanksgiving expand and set free. And every way radiate energy. You can praise a weak body into strength, a fearful heart into peace and trust, shattered nerves into poise and power, a failing business into prosperity and success, want and insufficiency into supply and support. I love that. So when we appreciate what we have, when we appreciate life, when we stop and be in the moment and really enjoy the moment, we magnify the gratitude, and it affects our lives and it affects others in a positive way when we savor the moment with gratitude. A third way that we can savor the moment is through the V in savor, which is to vitalize. And what I realize happens when we are savoring the moment, we become so focused on what's happening right now. It actually energizes, it livens up, it invigorates the moment because it brings all of our attention right here, like a pinpoint, to this moment, and helps us to be, I like to be revitalized. I love that because it means to bring life to, and we can feel totally enlivened when we are savoring this moment right now. And I think when we are in that moment, one way that we can help to vitalize the moment is by bringing our attention to the fact that we are focused in this moment. And we can't help but be vitalized by that understanding and by that action. So we can build and we can strengthen our neural circuits, our neural pathways, by savoring the moment and realizing that we can vitalize the moment through our attention. And the next thing that we can do is the O in savor, which to me stands for opening our heart. And this really is about being present in every moment and allowing love to shine through, to be present to love wherever we are, whatever we are doing, and just to find a place of love. Whoever we're with, whatever is happening around us, just to bring love to that moment, and to be present to that love and to magnify that love and to embrace ourselves and really embrace others with that love. And I like to really picture that I'm giving love to someone that I'm with. You know, you don't have to tell them anything, but just to do it, in my mind, and it's like a prayer that I am blessing other people with. And I've discovered that it helps to shift the energy in that moment, because we know that when we shift our thinking, we shift our experience. And by focusing on love, it opens a field to the experience of love being magnified and savored. And recent science shows that these micro moments, these small moments of savoring love, or other positive emotions, actually improve our physical health, our mental health, and help us to be connected to the allness of spirit. Rumi said, "There is a candle in your heart, ready to be kindled." The moment that we, he said, there's a void in your soul, ready to be filled. You feel it, don't you? Do you feel it? Do you feel that desire in your heart and your soul, that that desires to experience savoring life, that it desires to experience love. So we can build and we can strengthen these neurocircuits in our mind by being present to love, by opening our hearts to love. And the fifth way that we can experience the fullness of life and we can savor life is by relating to the R in savor, which is to rest. And to me, rest means to take a breath, to be present in this moment. It means to stop and just appreciate whatever's happening right now. You know, we can get so busy. I guess I can say I can get so busy in life that sometimes I have to stop. And I have to remind myself just to stop and be present to what is right now. And the breath is a powerful tool for being present and just to rest in that moment. And other powerful things that we can do are to engage in prayer, to engage in meditation, and to engage in contemplation. So today I've shown us a number of ways that we can savor our lives and our experience. And so now I'm going to take us into a meditation where we actually go through the points that I've made in this talk, and we'll end by resting together and spending a short time in the silence. But I'd like to invite you to incorporate this process into your prayer and meditation time. So let's do that, and I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath, just to breathe into this moment. And then to imagine that you can turn up your senses and tune into them and just be aware of what is it you're hearing right now. What is it you're feeling, touching? What's touching you? To tune into what you're tasting. Maybe it's nothing. But whatever it is, just be aware. And then, what are you appreciative of right now? What comes into your mind as something that you appreciate? It can be in yourself or someone else. And just focus on that. To be totally in the place of appreciation. Perhaps for life, for your life. And just hold whatever it is lightly. And then look at your energy. What is your energy like right now? This step is vitalize, and often this process vitalizes our energy, helps us to be energized, to be present. And then imagine that you can open your heart. And as you open yourself to the expression of love, what do you love? How is love showing up for you right now? Can you feel into it? Can you amplify this love? And the final step in Savor is to rest. And to hold all these ideas lightly. So lightly that they disappear for a moment. And let's take just a moment or two to rest in the silence. Breathing in and breathing out, and slowly allowing your awareness to return to this moment. And to open your eyes when you're ready. Every time we savor this moment, we energize the neural pathways in our mind. We build new pathways. In essence, we are building and we are constructing our mind to appreciate all of life, to appreciate what is in front of us, to appreciate all that we are. So I invite you to use this process to develop your pathways to experience the fullness of life. And our affirmation for today is, I am savoring this moment and experiencing life to the fullest right now. Let's say it together. I am savoring this moment and experiencing life to the fullest right now. And so it is. Namaste. Well, thank you for being here today. I am savoring this moment. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so grateful for Unity Church of Maui, and grateful for these teachings and the work that we are able to do. And grateful for you. We offer these teachings freely, but we certainly do appreciate your contributions to Unity Church of Maui, that in contributing to us, you are a partner with us in helping us to produce this work and to keep our ministry vitally alive. So thank you for your gifts, and I invite you to hold in your mind that which you are going to give to us today, or to hold it in your hot little hands as we feel the warmth of our hands. And let's pray and affirm together our prayer and affirmation for prosperity, which begins, through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply. And so it is. Thank you, God. Namaste. So, if you'd like to give to Unity Church on Maui, we make it very easy. You can do it the old-fashioned way and put a check in an envelope and address it to Unity on Maui at 483 South High Street in Wailuku. And you can also go to our website and click on the donate button. And thank you again for your wonderful donations. We feel very grateful to be operating in the black during these challenging times, and so many of you are continuing to give to us, even though we can't be together in person. So thank you for your gifts. Let's see, just a couple announcements today. World Day of Prayer is this week. It is Wednesday and Thursday. And typically we have some kind of an event at Unity Church of Maui on High Street, but unfortunately we won't be able to do that this year. But I'd like to invite you to go to Unity Worldwide headquarters. There'll be live events happening starting Wednesday night and most of the day on Thursday. And you can find out about those events by going to let's see, I have it here somewhere. World Day of Prayer. It's www.worlddayofprayer.org. And that is the World Day of Prayer website. You can find out what's happening, what time. And so that'll be happening this coming Wednesday and Thursday. I feel so grateful for the work of Silent Unity and for the work that they're doing to be praying for all of us all the time. So check that out. I think it'll make a great day for you. Also, we're about ready to start our new spirit groups, and it's titled Touching the Stillness. And I wonder, how is your mindfulness practice? How is your meditation practice? Is it working for you? This class is for people who are new to meditation, and it's also a wonderful class for people that are more advanced and have more success or more skills in meditation. We'll be looking at a number of practical ways that we can develop our prayer life and our meditation practice. Reverend Paulette Pipe is going to be with Wendy and in this amazing program, Touching the Stillness. And I knew Paulette Pipe from ministerial school. She sat right in front of me for the 2 years of ministerial school. And she's got a marvelous prayer consciousness. You will love her, I promise. And so this class is going to start, I think, the 24th of September in 2 weeks. And we'll let you know more information about how you can sign up and be a part of this class or this workshop. It'll, of course, be on Zoom. And we just finished our Dismantling Racism class, and it was really marvelous. I know this will be too. So more information to come about that. And if you are interested and want to connect with us today, you can do that on this Sunday at 11 o'clock today. We have our weekly Zoom meeting. And if you go to our newsletter or to our webpage, you'll find the links to today's meeting. It's 11 o'clock. We'll talk about this talk and whatever else is on your mind. And the important thing really is for us to connect and to be able to see each other video face to video face. So join us today. That's at 11 o'clock. And also on Wednesday, you can join us for our daily word and meditation at noon. every Wednesday. That's, of course, Hawaii time. And those links are also in the newsletter and on our webpage. And you can also find previous videos, talks, music on our YouTube page, Unity Church of Maui YouTube, and we've got an abundance of great things up there. I just watched this week some hula that different people have done in the past, and a great way to remember the great work that we're doing. So anyway, I think that is about it for today. Thank you for being here. I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, and I behold the Christ in you. And before we say goodbye, why don't we pray together the prayer for protection, which begins, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is. God bless. Namaste. Mahalo and aloha.
Where I live, there are rain.